to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Careful, please move your chair. You're in the wrong arm. It's all right. Okay, accept the minutes. I know we have some discussion on the March 6th minutes. And Carol, we didn't get the regular meeting yet, right? Oh, we did. Oh, okay. Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry. I haven't had time to go over it. So we'll just do March 6th tonight, if that's okay with everybody. Tony, you had
Well,
sent an email.
Right,
So
I'll kick it off, because I'm looking at the draft minutes that the clerk had sent from March 6th, where it says, quote, Councilman Lang said, let's take a vote. Supervisor Wingert agreed. She mentioned that Councilman Lang couldn't vote as he's the event sponsor and will directly benefit from the event. Lang said he had a right to vote and would, unquote. And when the vote came, basically, Councilman Lang voted. And my question was that I believe Councilman Lang should have recused himself from voting on that motion because he was the sponsor of the
right,
event.
we all got your email. I'll follow up with that. I had emailed and spoke on the phone to Sarah Brancatella from New York State Association of Towns. She's one of their attorneys. She sent me back my apologies for the delay, attaches an outline of and article for when a conflict exists and when a person should recuse him or herself from voting. Based on the information you told me on the phone, it sounds like the councilperson should have abstained. And the outline makes it pretty clear that when there is a financial interest, Article 18 of the General Municipal Law says that recusal is appropriate. Hope this information is helpful, and should you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, Beth Sarah. So, that's a 21-page document that I have here, and agreed, and Tony copied out the Article 3 of our Code of Ethics for everyone. So y'all were in receipt of that. So she told me that Ned, your vote just wouldn't count. It would be an abstention.
Well, I definitely disagree with that. I also spoke to the New York State Association of Towns, and they said, listen, if this resolution was specific about your event, and your event would be the event that your companies are sponsoring, that would be one thing. This resolution was not specifically about my event. It's about any event in the future that takes place in the town of Tusten, which requires a closure of roads or a substantial meeting of people. Then because it's not just about the event that my company's put forward, and there's no financial interest in the event itself. Actually, it was a loss for my company to put together the event. It was the business afterwards, which the town had no part of back in at the Narrowsburg Inn, which was the commercial part of the whole event. People didn't pay my companies to come to the event. They didn't pay me personally to come to the event. They came to the event voluntarily, so it wasn't a commercial enterprise to start with. And again, this this resolution was a resolution that covers all forthcoming events in the town of Tusten, which is way outside the purview of anything that my companies are doing personally. So I disagree. And so does the New York
State
State
Association. Did you ask them
Association.
for that opinion via email, or
Sorry?
did you ask them for that opinion?
Just like you, as you said, you had a conversation with them, and so did I.
Yeah, and I had her email me. her
Right, but we don't know what your
opinion
conversation was, how you laid out the specifics of your conversation. So I suggest if you want to make it so that my vote doesn't count, then you and I both need to go back to the New York State Association of Towns, copy them with emails outlining the exact specifics of what happened,
That's
and then
fine.
get their opinions back.
Not only his vote, but his discussion of the issue was in direct violation of the Town of Tusten Ethics Code. The Town of Tusten Ethics Code says no town officer or employee acting in his official capacity shall take action or participate in any matter whatsoever in the discussion, negotiation, or awarding of any contract or in any business or professional dealings with the town which the officer or employee has or will have an interest in such contract, business, or professional dealing. He clearly had an interest.
Just-
He was the sponsor of the event, and he had a business that was directly going to benefit, and that is in direct contravention to the town of Tusten.
That's
Ethics law.
that's an absolute lie.
And I
Mr.
also,
Money.
I just read it, so it can't be a lie.
It is
I
a
just
lie
read it.
because the parade was not a commercial event. There was nobody that paid myself or my companies to participate in the parade. They only, when they got done with the parade, they could go to any business in this town and enjoy their afternoons or go home.
Okay.
So
I'll
again,
tell you
there was
what we'll
no
do.
specific commercial enterprise directly tied to this event. So you're wrong as usual.
No,
Why don't you and I sit down, Ned, and we will come up with a list of bullets, a bulleted list, and send that to the association and get their opinion.
Yeah. But also,
And
you
we'll
know.
table this till next month.
Okay, looking forward, but, you know, there's a lot of other people that, you know, my companies will donate to the fireworks, my companies donate to other things, and so that maybe if an individual on this town board were to donate to the fireworks, does that mean they can't take, you know, a vote or talk about, or not, I shouldn't say talk about, vote or have any enterprise at all or any concerns with the town as a town board member concerning the fireworks, therefore, you know, to allow the fireworks to go ahead, or if any town board member was to donate to a specific event, then, and required a vote, let's say another resolution, and nobody could vote, where are we? That's crazy.
a donation is not a financial
Right, exactly.
interest.
A donation, you have to differentiate between a donation and being the sponsor or the co-sponsor. Correct me if I'm wrong, were you the sponsor or the co-sponsor of that event?
I was the person that organized the event. How about that?
You were the sponsor of the event.
I was the person that organized the event. It was not a commercial event.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is.
So it's not covered by the code of ethics if it's not a commercial enterprise,
No,
which it
it
certainly
says,
wasn't.
in fact, in the Conflict of Interest General Rules, which was passed in 1996 in Tusten, it says, no town officer or employee shall invest or hold any investment in any financial, business, commercial, or other private transaction which creates a conflict with his official duties, and then also no town officer or employee shall engage in any transaction as a representative or agent of the town with any business entity in which he has a conflict with the proper discharge of his official duties. I mean, there's about 10 points, and the first thing that when you speak to the Association of Towns, the Association of Towns is going to say, does your town have a
Code of
code of ethics already on the books? And what I would highly recommend is, one, table the approval of these minutes, that's one, and two, send exactly verbatim what our code of ethics are, okay, in the town of Tusten, which has been in effect since 1996.
Right, that's fine. That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And are you saying that your bar and restaurant didn't have a direct economic benefit from it?
Am I saying that anybody else in this town didn't have it?
And the Heron and
it makes no
restaurant don't
difference.
vote on the town board.
It
I
makes no
understand
difference.
that, but still
But
don't
he
say
had-
he
there's
got
a
an exclusive interest, though. It wasn't an exclusive.
The
It
parade,
doesn't say-
the parade
it
did
doesn't
not
say
bring
exclusive
any,
interest. It
the
says
parade
interest.
itself was
Yes, I know.
the
As a
issue.
board member.
Yes, but you were
So
saying
the
at the
Heron has
benefit.
nothing to do
The
with it.
parade itself was not the issue. There was no commercial transactions on behalf of the parade as far as people coming to the parade. It was what happened afterwards, that people could either come to the restaurant, bar, they could walk home, do whatever they wanted. That is totally outside the purview of that resolution.
No, it wasn't. It was, you had a direct financial interest.
No, you're absolutely wrong again.
Okay,
Well, no more
This
than
is
the liquor
tabled.
store or anybody else, that's just ridiculous.
But it's simple,
Let's be
it's
fair.
just a matter of my having a vote or not. This is all, you've done all this
This is
work,
not a board
whether I
meeting.
could have a vote or not, in something that doesn't matter anyway, because whether my vote counted or not, it still carried the resolution.
No, I
No,
think
it's not a
basically,
matter
of whether it
matters or not. It's a matter of
I think
ethics.
it's the principle.
We're gonna get into ethics in a while, I
Right,
got
I
news
think
for you.
it's the principle and the precedent that's set, okay? That if somebody who sits on this board has some sort of interest, okay, and they sponsor an event, whatever it is, they should just recuse themselves, and it's as simple as that. Just step down and recuse yourself from it.
okay, agreed. This
I
discussion is
totally
over
disagree.
and this is tabled.
Let's go. All right, Carol, you and I will meet though, let's get a resolution. You and I will meet, and then we'll talk to the New York State Associations of Town and let them tell us what their thoughts are.
Approve the bills. Any questions or comments on the bills?
Are we tabling both those, the 6th and the 12th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the 12th I didn't get a chance to read.
Okay.
so I missed that in my email, so I apologize. Any questions or comments on the bill? No?
No, excuse me, Carol, who was supposed to review the bills this month?
I did.
Go
Okay.
was set in January,
You
you'll
and-
have to go
you
back
and-
to
I
the
know, I wanna make sure
organizational
we're all
meeting.
good with this. You and I?
Yes.
Okay, all right, well, I have not done that, so
Second
I'm gonna,
quarter, second quarter is
Over
even.
January,
Okay.
February, March, isn't it?
Okay. Oh, wait a minute, I have it copied in here.
I'll stop in
Yeah, it's
tomorrow.
Tony and Ned, yep,
Okay, and we are, for next month also?
3 months. you got
3
it.
months, okay,
Yep.
okay, so I'm clear.
Okay. Can I have a motion to
And you
approve
do it by
bills?
yourself, you don't have to.
I'll move that.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain, I
Opposed?
didn't review the bills, so I have to abstain.
Narrowsburg Water and Sewer Financial Report is there for your reading pleasure. Correspondence? New York State DEC, Division of Forest Protection. Good morning, I would just like to remind you all that the statewide burning ban, open burning ban, goes into effect tomorrow, March 16th. This restricts the open burning of any materials in the state, with certain exceptions through May 14th. Please remind the public in your respective towns of this. If you have questions or concerns about the ban or what the exceptions are, please contact me. Thank you, Jason Seeley, State Forest Ranger. Upper Delaware Scenic Byway. Dear Supervisor Wingert and the Town Board, the Upper Delaware Scenic Byway Incorporated nonprofit organization expresses appreciation for the Town of Tusten's $1,000 municipal contribution for 2013 received on March 18. This financial support will facilitate our efforts to promote and enhance the Upper Delaware Scenic Byway corridor along New York State Route 97 this year. Thank you for your town's participation and support. Sincerely, Lori Ramey. Glen Cove Cemetery Association. Dear Town Board members, the Glen Cove Cemetery is operated as a not-for-profit association to provide an orderly and dignified resting place for members of the community since the beginning of the 1900s. The cemetery has been self-sustaining through the decades primarily because the sale of graves produced sufficient income to offset operating costs. In recent years, costs for maintenance have risen along with state-mandated charges for permanent maintenance and vandalism fees. At the same time, sales of graves have dwindled to the point where they average about 3 per year. This unfortunate situation has resulted in the cemetery costing more to operate than the income can cover. It is the desire of our board to continue to operate the cemetery rather than abandon it and turn maintenance over to the Town of Tusten. A recent amendment to Section 165A of the New York State General Municipal Law, copy attached, now allows municipalities to voluntarily provide funds or services to cemeteries such as ours. We would like this law to serve as the basis to respectfully request funding from the town of Tusten in the amount of $1,000, which would allow us to break even in 2013. Thank you for your time and consideration. Should you require any additional information, please contact me. Sincerely, Arthur J. Hawker, and our after correspondence is going to present to us.
That means we'll tap it for Donnie.
Let's see, Congressman Chris Gibson, to Mrs. Wingert, please accept this letter of support for the Town of Tusten's applications for 2 New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and Environmental Justice grants. Specifically, Tusten has applied for Community Impact Grant for the Narrowsburg Big Eddy Esplanade Project and a Green Gems Grant for the Tusten Heritage Community Garden, both of which are projects currently underway in the hamlet of Narrowsburg. The Big Eddy Esplanade Project will leverage the region's natural resources, including its agriculture with its important tourism industry, to revitalize urban centers that have important economic, historic, and cultural significance. Additionally, this project will encourage the advancement of green development projects and the development of additional waterfront areas to enhance recreation, tourism, and business opportunities. The Heritage Community Garden is another noteworthy project that will help to advance the revitalization of the Tusten Urban Center. Specifically, it encourages the development of sustainable farming through a course taught by local farmers at the Narrowsburg Public Library. Additionally, it has created the Big Eddy Farm Stand Rural Youth Workforce Development Program to promote entrepreneurship and a new farmer workforce. Finally, the responsible and long-term development of the center of Narrowsburg will encourage young families and professionals to stay in the region and help the local economy grow while promoting the agricultural and rural culture of the entire region. I am confident that you will find these projects as notable and worthy of this grant funding as I do. I strongly support their progress and initiative in advancing the culture and economy of the town of Tusten as well as Sullivan County as a whole. Should you have any questions regarding this letter of support, please do not hesitate to contact my office. Sincerely, Chris Gibson, Member of Congress. And that was basically directed more to the Tusten Local Development Corp than the town itself, but it was a very nice supportive letter, so I wanted to read that. New York State Department of Ag and Markets. It has been brought to our attention that the town of Tusten does not have a municipal shelter or contract for shelter services as required by Article 7, Section 114 of the Agriculture and Markets Law. Article 7 can be viewed at the following link. This is a letter of warning. Failure to arrange for shelter services will result in further regulatory action. Your municipality will be contacted in approximately 30 days to determine compliance with Article 7. If you have any questions regarding the shelter retirement or need additional guidance in order to comply, please feel free to contact Kim Volpe, Animal Health Inspector. Sincerely, Dr. James A. Gray. Sullivan County DPW. Monticello, New York. Sullivan County Legislature has announced that Sullivan County's annual Litter Pluck Day will take place on Saturday, April 27, 2013, and all school and community groups as well as private citizens are urged to participate. Sullivan County's annual Litter Pluck is a popular event, and the legislature appreciates that their constituents volunteer their time to assist in the cleanup of the roadsides before the busy summer season, said Kathy Labuda, Public Works Committee Chair. Labuda continued, and because not everyone is able to participate on the same day, the county transfer stations will accept debris from April 27th to May 5th to allow each community an opportunity to participate. The Sullivan County Division of Public Works and Solid Waste will donate trash bags for this community-based roadside cleanup event and will accept the roadside refuse for disposal free of charge at the county transfer stations. All residents and groups who wish to participate in litter pluck can pick up their litter pluck materials anytime on or after Friday, April 19th, 2013 at their town or village hall or local transfer station. While no coupons are required, all litter pluck refuse must be placed in clear bags. For more information about litter pluck, please call Sullivan County Parks Recreation Beautification Director, Kristen Porter. Grace Bible Church. Dear members of the town board, Grace Bible Church would like your permission to put a small to medium-sized container closet in the basement of the town hall where we have our Sunday school. It will be used for children's toys, books, and needed material. This would allow us to lock our belongings and not have to be concerned that things will be missing. Thank you in advance for your consideration. Very truly yours, Bill Bizzelli, Deacon, Grace Bible Church. Sullivan County IDA. Your Supervisor Wenger, in accordance with the County of Sullivan Industrial Development Agency's current payment in lieu of taxes agreement, I am pleased to forward this check dated March 21st in the amount of $2,668.74 payable to the order of the town of Tusten. This payment is detailed in the attached calculation and refers to the IDA project listed below. And that's for the Central New York Railroad. Central New York Railroad Corp. Dear Mr. Clemente, this letter is in response to your email of November 5th, 2012, where you allege that the bridge number 121.5 over Main Street in Narrowsburg is poorly maintained and is in dangerous condition. You listening, Bernie? Annually, the Central New York Railroad inspects every bridge and culvert along the line for safety. The safety of our bridges is of the utmost importance to the safe continued operation of the line. The latest inspection was on November 14th, 2012, conducted by Richard Hensel, VP Engineering, along with a PE from Spectra Engineering. The bridge was found to be structurally sound and safe for continued operation. Rest assured that if structural issues are found with any bridge, they are addressed immediately. The engineers agree with your assessment that there are issues with the concrete abutment and wing wall. However, there are not structural issues. There are cosmetic issues, and as we have stated before, we are willing to work with the town of Tusten to improve the appearance of the bridge for the community. Please contact me to discuss making improvements to the concrete fascia. A public-private partnership has been successful in several other communities, including Callicoon. I look forward to hearing from you and the members of the community. So, we can contact them and hopefully they'll offer more than we'll supply the paint and you can go paint it.
The
So,
concrete,
yeah,
Falls on your head.
yeah,
Whose fault is it?
there's.
they're unbelievable.
Upper Delaware Council, this is just an announcement of the 25th Annual Award Ceremony, Sunday, April 28th of 2013 at the Lackawaxen Inn, Lackawaxen, PA. I have a copy of this, and I'm sure Carol does as well, so if anybody's interested in attending, you may do so. The cost is,
What's that for, Carol?
the EDC's Annual Award Ceremony. Tickets are $27 a person, and reservations are required with advance payment by Friday, April 19th. So, if you'd like to attend. New York State Department of State. This is just the letter that they sent to Carroll County for the local law number 2, 2013. It was filed on 4/4/13. Above referenced material is filed by this office as indicated. Sincerely, Linda Lash, Principal Clerk. And the last thing I have, I've talked to board members and we're in agreement that this should be read. Town of Tusten, please take notice that the undersigned claimant hereby makes claim and demand against you as follows. The name and post office address of each claimant's attorney is John Hector, Esquire, P.O. Box 404, Narrowsbrook, New York. Edward Lang, P.O. Box 485, Narrowsbrook, New York. The nature of this claim: malicious prosecution, libel, slander, negligent, intentional infliction of emotional distress, violation of civil rights, interference with economic advantage, civil harassment. The time, when, the place, where, and the manner which the claim arose. Sorry, that's really tiny. 2011 to 2012, prosecution in Tusten, Coshocton, and Bloomingburg Town Courts, prosecution of unfounded and malicious charges. Number 4, the items of damage or injuries claimed are loss of business time, damage to reputation, attorney's fees, and related expenses. And that concludes our correspondence.
There's no state of unit.
We move into, Art, would you like to give us a presentation for the cemetery, please?
Thank you for your time. It's pretty much indicated in my correspondence. I'm here as the president of the Glen Cove Cemetery Association, which is a not-for-profit. Cemetery's operated since 1924 and has been self-sufficient up until about now. The cemetery itself is reflective of pretty much a national trend where people are just not purchasing graves, and for a not-for-profit cemetery, that's about the only income that can be derived is the sale of burial plots. And as I did indicate, it averages about 3 per year over the last, say, 5 years. Some years are better, some years are worse in terms of purchases. Well, everything's relative. So with that, this year we are facing a shortfall by about $1,000. It costs roughly around $4,900 to run the cemetery, to pay the bills, the insurance, things of that nature. And we expect on average to take in about $3,900. And through the State Association of Cemeteries, we became aware of this section of the general municipal law, which brings me here to request your consideration for that $1,000.
Will that be ongoing, Art?
I'd like to say this is a one-time request, but I'd be lying if I did. It's for this year. This is, I come to you now because we know we're not going to have enough. Our ground.
A lot of converts in the Catholic Church, because we're filling up.
Yeah. Our only requirement is that they are deceased. But now we've tried to cut back where we can. We do have, and I don't want to misrepresent anything, we do have some funds squirreled away, but they're in CDs that are tied up until 2020. That would get us maybe 3 years worth of bill paying. But that's the position we're in. We've tried to cut as much as we can. Our groundskeeper has been making the same pay up until this year for about the last 6-7 years. Whoever's been cutting the grass and maintaining it, and this year took a pay cut. So.
What's that cemetery? Have they right to refute?
It's, if we don't help them, then we
And they're gonna be on your
be
windowsill.
taking it over.
Yeah, and that's not imminent. Like I
Right.
say, if worst case situation, if we had no other choice, we could cash in CDs and
Right.
and try and make ends meet, but once that's gone, then
And that's gone.
unless things improve and more plots are sold.
And Art, you can't raise the price on the plots, right?
We did raise, that's all subject to approval by the Division of Cemeteries. We did get approval, I think it was 3, maybe 4 years ago, to raise $50 per plot. Right now, a plot at Glen Cove is $300, but out of that 300, you have to take a minimum 10% to go to permanent maintenance fund, along with a $35 assessment and a $5 vandalism fee.
I think we get 5. But
For-
I'd like to make a motion that this board gives the cemetery $1,000 for the year.
Can we do that?
Where would you put it at, pull it out of though? Just what line item?
General fund, I would imagine, no?
No,
I'm not sure.
we
I
take
don't
that
know.
out of contingency.
That's that
That's-
25,000?
Where we have a contingent.
I think it was 25.
I think it was
It
25,000.
might have, yeah. But I mean, that's what contingency funds are for.
I'll second it.
Second. The only comment I would make is, in discussing this, you just wanna be careful because, you know, we do have lava and the other cemeteries as well, so some of them we
Yeah,
already
yeah.
have taken over because they can't fund them, but, you know,
You know, I'm sorry, but I think there's too much correctness sometimes. Sometimes it's our town and you do what's best for it, and you don't say, well, this one got it and this one didn't.
no, well, that's,
And
I'm
if people are
just,
gonna think that way, they don't wanna be part of it.
I agree, I choose to fund it, but I'm just throwing it out there so that you're aware, so.
It is definitely in our best interest to keep them afloat as long as we can. Because the alternative is gonna cost us a lot more.
Yeah.
I'd like to say we hope that you lose more money, that way less people are jumping in there.
Well, yes, it depends on
We're getting converts.
the view, I guess.
All right, so I guess we're doing this resolution now, we can do that. So we have a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Nice, great presentation, Art.
Thank you, Art.
Thank you.
He could have been a stand-up comic. He could have been a
That's
stand-up
for
comic.
1 year. Just this year. Just this year. If they need more next year, they'll come and ask. Hey. Division reports. Glenn, you're up.
I'm up, okay.
Time to wake up.
Well, I got good news, and I have bad news. Bad news is, we still had overtime last month. The good news is, so far, we haven't had none this month. Okay, we had 59.25 hours overtime for March. We went through 824.2 gallons of diesel, 607 was used on the highway, 217.2 was non-highway. We went through 495.2 gallons of gas, 357.2 was highway, 138 was non-highway. Okay, we had to cut out a piece of a box on our one truck and weld a new piece back into it. We cut brush and small trees on the back of Hemlock Lane. We cut brush off Smith Hughes Road and trimmed back pine trees on Perry Pond Road. It was just one spot, it was on a turn there, they were sticking out in the road. We cut brush on Swamp Pond and Chalk Road. We drained the transmission and changed the filter on the backhoe because we started having a problem with the transmission and that seemed to correct the problem. Sanded and plowed roads a few times. We ditched the back of Delaware Drive. We put a pipe in by the town well on Delaware Drive. We ditched on 5th Street up by the feed mill. We replaced the driveway pipe up on Perry Pond. We ditched Gable Road between 97 and Humphrey Road. Repaired transmission hoses on number 27. I blew the lines out, and then once you started with one, we see the rest are getting bad, so we replaced all of them. Put new cutting edge on snowplow number 1, which is a truck I drive. Took down the no winter maintenance signs and opened up the roads. We replaced the pipe on Button Hanging Road. It was at the end where we turn around. The pipe was up ground level. I don't know why it wasn't deeper, but it's deeper now. We took the sanders off the small trucks. We cut brush on the back of Tusten Road, which is up by number 9 bridge, because the trees were starting to grow into the road. Started paperwork to obtain 3 permits from the DEC for pipe replacement. And I filled out the application and sent the paperwork back to the DEC for renewal of the fuel tank permits. We got our street broom. We changed all the fluids and filters. We fixed minor repairs. I had to get new tires for our loader, so we took them off. It worked out pretty good. We took them off Wednesday afternoon. It was right before Easter, so for Good Friday, those guys had Thursday off anyway. We took them out on Wednesday. We got them back. They delivered them on Friday, so that worked out pretty good. But it was $6,000 for 4 tires. I mean, that sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's state bid, so. Okay, here's some good news. The new budget was passed in Albany, and accordingly for CHIPS, we're getting an additional $25,859 this year in our CHIPS money. So that'll put us up to $119,501, and we were at $93,642. Now, this could be only a one-year thing. Who knows what it's gonna be? It's been passed, so the money's there. I'm saying $25,859 because that's what I was handed a sheet, but until I actually hear from CHIPS themselves, I'm gonna kind of be a little reluctant on getting how much we're gonna get yet. A lot of the street lights have been out for a while, and Brandy went and called the Nice Egg, and I gotta give the girl credit because now all our lights are up and fixed.
Yep.
And one of the reasons, though, why they were slow over here was because of Ricky Buttenhagen had a lot of time off, and he usually does all the lights and stuff, but he had Lyme's disease, and he was fighting that, so he was off for quite a while. In fact, Ricky, I was talking to Ricky today because he came up and fixed the 1x25 because he got back in across the lawn to get to that one. One other thing, I thought I had 2 things I wanted to. One other thing I don't have on my report, but I just wanted to let everybody know. Kirk Road out here, I think we're gonna be doing that on the first full week or the second week of May. So it's probably gonna be 3 days where it might be chaotic out here. Because they're gonna go down and they're gonna grind it off, and then they're gonna go back through and they're gonna lay down the new on top of that. And it should be about 2 days, but I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say at least 3 days. So when they are starting construction, I mean, we're gonna have the road open, we're not closing the road, so you'll be able to get through it if you have to. But just to let everybody know, you may get tied up there for a little bit if you see it. You can always go up to the hillside and back up 97 to get to Peck's or wherever you gotta go. But the road will be passable, it's just you may have to wait. And I guess that's all you have. One of the biggest things I bought this week, we'll just get a touch on that just quick, was it's a tailgate conveyor. It was $7,600. What that does, it goes on the back of a truck. And most of our roads, if you go around and look at our roads, you see the sides, edges of the roads damaged because of the wing plows drop down and they tear the edge off the road. This is a conveyor that mounts on the back of the truck and takes it over to the side and drops it off on the edge of the road. So we can go down the road and repair the road that way and roll it in and hopefully help save the roads a little bit more and get more life out of the roads. Although I will admit after this year, if we get through this year okay, without any major catastrophes, we're gonna be getting back in good shape because I got 10 miles of road I'm chipping this year. And I chipped 6 miles last year and we got 30 miles of paved roads.
Good.
So I wanna get everything into a 3-year. I know they tell you 5, 10 years, but that's fantasy land, really. I mean, with chips and resurfacing, you gotta wait 5 years before you can put that same road in, but you can do it in chips 1 year, pay for it the following time, and then put it back in, by that time you can put it back in chips. But if we keep them, if we try to stay on top of them, hopefully we can eliminate even coming in here and paving roads.
Right.
And by doing that, I mean, you're gonna save a lot of money and a lot of problems because you start building roads up and so, and that's all I really have for you.
Thank you very much.
Let me just interject.
Yes.
Glenn, you and I, every month, I'm on the highway committee, so every month I try to go over and chat with Glenn a little bit and stuff, and then,
I lock the door when I see you coming.
and rightly so. Anyway, there's some work that Glenn has got coming up that it requires an excavator, and I said, you know, did you put it out for a local guy? He said, Ned, there's nobody local that can do this type of work. And I said, well, you know, maybe a guy could rent a backhoe or an excavator to do the work. So at that conversation, you know, and you had a good point. You said, you know, if you know, maybe the town board should have a resolution that we should hire from within, whether it be employees or it be subcontractors, independent contractors, and hire from within the town primarily. Because in the last 3-4 months, it's 2 or 3 times I know of sitting here today that bids or work almost went out to people from not within the town when there's people within the town that can do it. So I would like to put forward that maybe not now, but next month in our agenda, that we put together a resolution that primarily in all contracts that the town board lets, that local contractors are contacted primarily. So to see if there's the inclination of the availability of those contractors to do the work, and if not, then hire from outside the town, including our employees.
To be fair, I think we've always tried to take people locally. And
I
if
see,
they
I
don't put
disagree
in a bid,
100% with that, I disagree totally. Because if you're gonna tell me, if I got an opening up there, that I gotta hire somebody from town, just because they live in this town, you're defeating your purpose. Because I should be hiring, when I did the last time, I hired a guy from Damascus, and I got slack about it. But the reason I hired him is because he can do mechanical work. He did a clutch in our one big truck, which normally they would have had to send to Palmer's. He does our own tires up there, which are $100 a shot. There was nobody in town that put an application in that can do that job. And as far as the excavator goes, the guy I was telling you about is Norm Sutherland. He's also your buddy Peter Shimes. He does all the work for Peter Shime.
I don't know.
Okay, young Norm. He used to be superintendent of highways. The reason I want to go with him is because he does a lot of work for the towns. He's used to handling these big pipes. I don't want to hire somebody in there. I mean, anybody can I can run an excavator, but I ain't going to put a big pipe in.
You're misconstruing the purpose. The purpose is to reach out initially to town contractors and town people. In other words, in your first go around for your advertisement, say we would like to hire somebody from the town of Tusten to fill this position. If you don't get anybody, then common sense dictates that you have to go outside the town. I understand that. Same thing with contractors. If you know, again, you have town law that, you know, the lowest guy gets the bid, but we should reach out. It should be the purpose of this board to reach out to local people to see if they're interested in doing the work, and then if not, then you move out and you do what you have to do.
Mike,
Usually
it's the
primarily what we
highway
try to do.
superintendent, it's the highway superintendent's discretion, I believe, okay, to hire all his employees and staff, is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Right, it's not ours. I mean, Glenn, basically, I remember, you know.
When I did hire him, I did call
There
you
was
and
a
Andre
student,
to sit in.
right,
And
as a
you got
courtesy.
tied up and you
That's-
couldn't.
That's correct,
And that's because I didn't want to show partiality or anything
Right.
like that. I kind of wanted to be fair about it.
exactly.
But I wanted the best guy for the job. I didn't want a guy because he lived in Narrowsburg. I could care less
Right.
about that.
Right.
I wanted the guy that was best for the job. As a matter of fact, you bring that up, all 5 guys that work for the highway department, not one of them live in town.
Well, there you have it. There you
Not
have
one
it.
of them.
Exactly right. That's my point.
but the
But by
point
the
is,
same token, okay, it's not town government, we're getting that carried away. You go to Honor Brand, there's not one person down there that lives in Narrowsburg. You go to the lumber company, there's not one guy there. And how many guys up at your place have PA plates on their cars?
Glenn, the problem is, or the point is, not the problem, the point is that we're dealing with local tax money supporting a local tax base. Reach out to your local people first. If you can't find someone, then go outside, okay?
But the
Same
limit-
thing with your contractor.
I'd like to say, within the last 24 years, I've been on this board and you're sick of me.
Fair enough.
I have always seen that if there was an equal bid, and somebody was from in town and somebody was from out town, without question, was the person in town. The qualifications have to matter. I mean, I could put in to
absolutely.
do excavating, I mean, I would do a hell of a job, wouldn't I? But I live here, should I get the job?
No.
You know, I mean, you gotta think that way.
Let me refresh your
Listen,
memory.
Ned.
Let me
What?
refresh your memory. The town hall with the heating system went out to Bill Bazzelli. Greg, who's my neighbor up on the hill, who does a great job and does work for me, didn't even know about the bid and was upset, and he did talk to you about that, Carol.
Yeah, he did. He came
Right,
in.
after,
and-
afterwards, and he was
Right.
upset because he was never even contacted, okay?
Because we
The
were in an
same thing-
emergency
wait a
situation.
minute, Wait a minute. Number
ahead.
2, Tom Karachi here almost got the bid for the flagpole because we never even talked to Kevin Frieda. I got involved and Kevin Frieda hired and he did the work. So there is an issue, and my point is that we should be looking to local people.
But isn't it put out, the bid put out, so that is it their fault that, whose fault is it if they don't read
Hold
it?
on. Let me
They don't look in
clarify
the
a couple
paper.
things.
You're really good.
First off, the boiler, we were in an emergency situation. We were,
Greg was never
was-
notified, Carol. He was never notified.
exactly, we were in an emergency situation. We had 3 quotes, Norm
Right.
got them.
He was never notified, is my point. That's
My point is, we didn't have time to go we didn't have time to advertise. We had to get quotes and go with it because we were cited by the state because we had a leaking furnace and they were going to shut down the building. It was December.
It's a phone call. It's a phone call. It's a phone call. And Tom Karachi would have done the work for the flagpole had I not gotten
No, he
involved.
wouldn't,
Yes, he
Ned,
would have.
because we only had that quote. We got
Right.
top, excuse me, let me finish.
I am letting you finish.
You
I
keep
said you're right.
interrupting me. We got one quote from Tom Kawachi. I had to get one quote in order to see, is it gonna be over? Do we need to get a bid? Do we need to go out to bid? Do we need to get more quotes? How many quotes do we need to get? You need some kind of a basis. Ed had seen Tom and said, hey, you know, I know you do this kind of work. Do you know, let me know how much this is. That's how that started, and then we needed more quotes. We needed to get another quote.
Carol, on your agenda, and I have a copy of it, there was a resolution to approve Tom Kawachi's bid, period. There was nobody else even asked. I have a copy of the agenda. There was nobody else asked. You were going to give that quote to Tom Kawachi until I got involved and sent you an email. I said, Carol, did you invite anybody else? I don't see anybody else's
but I don't think that's
bids.
true.
I know that's exactly the truth. Point is, Glenn, I would like to see us and really try to engage local people and local businesses. That's my point.
Now, on the heating system, we had set out specifications for the heating system. A lot of the contractors that we did contact did not want to go along with the specifications we wanted to do. And we had went to a very good person to build up the specifications, to get the parameters we wanted to go into. And when they don't want to stay in the parameters that they're bidding on, they've taken themselves out of the deal then, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree with you, Norm, but I met Greg at the bus stop waiting for Carol to pick
Yeah.
up his kids, and he was livid that he didn't even know about the bid. Livid.
Is it
Livid.
advertised?
Because it wasn't a bid, it was a
an
quote.
emergency.
Okay,
it
but he
was an
wasn't
emergency.
contacted. Again, we're getting back to my
Okay,
point.
and again, we're off topic and we're off agenda, so let's move on, please. Water and sewer, Dom.
Okay. I cut and cleared brush around the driveway at well 2 that was starting to infringe over. It was by Charlie Whalen's house and our pet shop. I had to bring the Kubota over to Marshall Machinery. I had a leaking kingpin seal on the front and they replaced both because they said once one goes, the next one shortly behind it. I had to locate some water and sewer lines for NICEAG because they've been replacing some poles up and around this area. Replaced 2 light fixtures at the sewer plant that have gone bad. Repaired ground cover on bed 1 and 2 that was blown off due to a windstorm. Repaired and lowered some clean outs at the whistle stop. Raised a water valve housing for a valve on Delaware Drive. Shoveled snow at the town hall and deck. Placed orders with Ferguson and Schmitz on their lowest bid items that we went over on inventory last month. Received a complaint of water leaking at 246 Bridge Street. Went and found that the leak was on their side in the house. We shut off the water just on the other side of the meter until they can get it fixed. Received a call about a possible clog at a residence. We went in and found everything was fine. It must have fixed itself in time. Pumped down the chlorine contact tanks at the sewer plant. Replaced the frost-free hydrant at the sewer plant due to leaking base. Brought recyclables from the town hall to the transfer station. Started setting up the caustic soda shed for the season because we have to add caustic soda down at the sewer plant to raise the pH to be in our speedies permit. Cleared some brush around a couple hydrants on the flats. Read meters and sent out bills along with leak letters. Performed a final reading on 73 Hickory Lane. Installed a couple water meters. It's that time of year, everybody's come back, want their water back on. Received a low water pressure call from Miss Carpenter at 85 School Street. Inspected and found that it was only on the hot side. So, she's an elderly lady, so she called the plumber then, and I spoke with the plumber. Seems that the domestic coil or the tempering valve is clogged, so he came and fixed it for her. Received our order from Schmidt, still waiting on our order from Ferguson. dismantled an old pipe rack that was falling down at the warehouse on the flats. Took down the flagpole out here at the town hall. We're flushing hydrants, April 30th and May 1st and 2nd, so people will experience some low water pressure and some brown water. And CRA started work again down at the landfill site today.
When are you gonna be doing flushing?
April 30th, May 1st and 2nd.
And you'll have that in the paper, correct?
Yeah, it's gonna be in the paper for 2 weeks, and I'll have notices of it around the town.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Building, Gary.
For March of 2013, conducted 14 construction inspections, 3 complaint-related inspections. I issued 2 certificates of occupancy, 7 certificates of compliance, conducted 2 seal and violation searches. We received 3 complaints, 2 were closed. We issued 1 violation, which needs to be corrected. Monies collected by this office were $150 for the month. Myself and my associate Jocelyn attended the class in Newburgh on handicap accessibility requirements. That's it.
Thank you very much. Ken, assessor.
I finished data collection for the May 1st roll. Have some more adjustments to make on the computer, but mostly finished. That goes in April 15th with everybody's exemption and new data for any construction or demolitions or so on. I completed my education requirements through September 30th by taking land schedules, valuation schedules. A funny thing, they rate their schedule the same way we did ours back in the revaluation.
Can you
So-
imagine that?
Yeah, can you imagine? So anyway, I spent a day over in Newburgh to learn that. We did it the right way. I had given you a map with 2 parcels on
Yes.
that are in our salt shed block of land on 97, and recommend that we contact the county treasurer and see if we can obtain them, I think.
I have another one here that, somebody, Gene Sackett dropped off, I think. It's, 16.-4-7.
16.4 is the lot noted by.
Oh, okay.
We have 16.6 and 16.5. 16.4, he's bought most of those land because they're by the arena,
Okay,
so
okay.
we have never bought in that block.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
And that's the lady who
Drop
doesn't
that
want
off.
it anymore, so he should follow up on
Okay.
that.
Perfect. Anything else?
No.
Thank you very much. And UDC, Susan, how are you?
Glad my job conflict is over and I can come back and do this in person. And thank you to Tony for doing it for me while I had the job conflict. So there's 5 things, I think, that are worth noting from the April 4th meeting of the UDC. The DRBC was there, present, a different guy. And the question was asked about gas drilling, and basically he said they're sort of dead in the water waiting on New York State, that they will not go forward and possibly have a conflict with New York State. Also, I asked him about pipelines, because there's a lot of pipelines. There's actually 15 pipeline proposals, all of which crisscross, and they're aiming themselves at New York City and New Jersey. And he did say that that's the destination of the gas industry, is New York City and New Jersey. And that the pipeline projects really don't have any oversight, or it's a for-profit adventure, which is reminding me of NYRE a lot, where we were faced with eminent domain so that a company could make a lot of money. And that's basically what this pipeline thing is. And the DRBC has agreed to oversight one at a time. They will go in at the very last moment and do some kind of review, but they are not willing to look at them as a whole, cumulatively, which would be how you should do it, you know. Anyway, that's that. A lot of the meeting was Pennsylvania, because they have a thing over there called the nitrate abatement regulation, which you all might hear about, and apparently their DEP is highly concerned about nitrates, to the point where they would actually no grandfathering and take somebody's, tell somebody they can't build on a piece of property for whatever. It's very complicated, and it doesn't affect us, thank God. But a lot of the meeting was about that. So the council will send a letter, though, in support of Pennsylvania towns, because what it does is it supersedes Pennsylvania towns. It just takes them completely, their whole zoning, planning function out of the picture. So we would support the towns that they should retain that right to do their zoning. The DEC open space plan. I think that came up maybe before, and it's interesting. The only land in Sullivan County that's been included, which was just last week, was Fort Delaware and the Minnesink campgrounds. But I think that it overlaps with waterfront revitalization. It overlaps, the Park Service will be talking to Jill Wire at Sullivan County Planning. But there's a thing where the DEC does this open space plan, and if you're included, you're eligible for funding. So I would kind of like to know who in town is working with the waterfront revitalization so that they can be coordinating with Sean McGinnis. It all goes together. It says at the project review, key to identifying lands for inclusion in the open space plan, he noted that lands need to be accepted into the plan before they can receive funding. Need for additional access, et cetera, et cetera. So if somebody could let me know who that person is, that would be a good thing.
Andrea's been doing.
Andrea?
most
Okay.
of the work with that, so.
Okay, good. And what else? The award ceremony we talked about. And there's also such a thing as an NPS work plan. And this, we have a wonderful superintendent. I mean, they're so very helpful and in partnering with everybody, the geological survey people, everyone. And they gave us their work plan. One of the items on their work plan says Boy Scouts, railroad, boundary extension. So at one time we had talked about that, and I don't know where that went, but it is on their work plan. So I thought you guys should know that.
That's in the back of my mind as well, I keep picking that up every once in a while, and that's something we need to address again.
You know what I'll do? I can just send Sean an email and say the town wants to be involved, it told what's going on. When you get to that part of your work
Okay,
plan,
excellent,
please
thank you.
invite,
Yep.
you know, pull us in,
Please advise, yeah,
right?
thank you.
Yeah. And the other thing is, Madam Morris, for those of you who are interested in using natural resources to make money, it's called the Delaware River Natural Economies Conference in Matamoros, PA. It's on May 14th, and it's sponsored by Common Waters. And I can send a copy of the email to anybody who might be interested in that. But I think it might be, you know, it's pretty interesting how we can use what we have to make economic gains.
Thank you very much. One quick question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think it would help if anybody wrote letters to DRBC regarding the pipeline, so that for them to look at it as an overall, or?
Well, it certainly wouldn't hurt. Yeah, yeah.
Definitely would be better.
Definitely.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
the people in the areas where these things happen are kind of left out in the cold. It's,
Right.
you know, everyone seems to worry about private property as long as, you know, it's not
I've got
them.
2 items, since I'm the alternate, Carol, just 2 quick items, since I'm the alternate from the UDC.
Oh, yeah, the water worm.
Right, right. Well, the first item is that the New York State Home Rule cases have been appealed, and they've already been heard, so we're waiting for a decision on that. That is Town of Dryden
Right.
and Town of Middlefield, so that's, those 2 cases have gone to the Court of Appeals. And they, I would assume, will probably have a decision in the next 30 to 90 days.
Right.
The other thing is that there was a recent article in the Times Herald Record where Penn State University professor Terry Engelder, I think that appeared like yesterday or the day before, that said most of Sullivan County doesn't have the resources for natural gas. And that's in the Times Herald Record. And he is a renowned professor about the Marcellus Shale. And one thing, since I chair the Water Use Resource Management meeting in April, there's a New York State access in Wardville, New York, which has boulders, which is preventing access to get to the river for a lot of licensed guides. There's about 55 under permit from the National Park Service, so I'm going to take that up as an agenda item this coming April. So,
Thank you very much. Beautification, Jane?
We don't have much to report other than we did get our application into Sullivan Renaissance on time. We did apply for a Category C. We listened to Glenn this time, and we're requesting to refurbish the Welcome to Narrowsburg sign at the south entrance and put a stone wall around that, so it kind of keeps in line with everything that's being done. And Main Street is going to build some planters and some seats if we get this Category C. So we should find out either this week or next week.
Oh, excellent. And you got my email regarding a new volunteer?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
Very
thank
good.
you. Oh, and just a personal note, the flagpole looks wonderful.
Very good. Thank you very much, Jane. LDC, Andrea.
We passed our bylaws, we adopted them at the last meeting, that was about a week ago yesterday, and we have letterheads. So when the fundraising goes out for the fireworks or Pig Mountain or whatever we end up doing this year, a letter can go out so people can write that off on their taxes, and we ran that by our town attorney or accountant, and everything's vetted out for that. We applied for 2 DEC environmental justice grants. We made the deadline. Thanks to Jane and Andrea, they helped quite a bit doing all the heavy lifting. And one was for $50,000 for the Esplanade, and the other one was for the community garden for pergola. Both had research components, so we hope that we get them. Thank you
very much, and thank you for all who are helping on that.
Andrea, I also have to add something that came up at the meeting that, as you recall. As it turns out, we finally, I'm the vice chair for the TLDC. And we've been asking for the statements for the records and stuff for any money that flowed through the TLDC and how that whole process worked last year. And then I was given some information that somebody had foiled and stuff, so that gave us some more information. And during the course of that meeting, it came to light that the individuals, the employees who were not paid as employees, were paid as independent contractors throughout the summer. Had no deductions taken from their pay, which is a huge violation of New York State law and federal Department of Labor law. And they're not independent contractors. They don't have their own insurance, and they certainly aren't billing, and there's a lot of issues there. So anyway, I was asked to reach out to the New York State Department of Labor, and I contacted the IRS out of Binghamton, so they're looking into it then. And also, during the course of that meeting, it came out that the community garden has some issues with water, I guess, right here. And the garden was not sustainable where it was supposed to be, so the garden was moved back to Andrea's property. And Andrea was a town board person, and then as I looked through the different vouchers, a lot of them were signed by Andrea to have these children, or these young people, let's call them, work and at her property as it comes to light. And I find it very interesting now, all of a sudden, we have this huge code of ethics issue over a simple vote on a resolution for parades, when as I look through that code of ethics, it looks like almost every one of them was violated at that point by Andrea, unfortunately, as she had people coming back and working that were paid as town employees, were not actually town employees, working at her property for the betterment of the summer, and there's no invoices that we can find. We have no accountability on the books. There's no invoices from any of the different resources that had money flowing in, or as it turns out, the money flowing out. So I called up the New York State Comptroller's office actually this morning, and I talked to them, and that's going up the line now. And so we want transparency. We want to know exactly what happened, and we want an audit, because now you've got all this money coming in from the 4th of July people to a TLDC, which is a part of the town government, without any accountability last year. And if there's going to be fines and issues, we want to know before we get this money tied up with the fireworks issue. So this is all coming to a head now, and that's what's happening, and that's what happened last year. And we want to make sure that doesn't happen again, because there's some serious issues that have transpired here. And thank you for the code of ethics stuff, because I wasn't aware of all these things.
I'll make one comment on that before we had paid anybody, before that all began, we had contacted our accountants, Cooper Neiman, and found out that it was fine to 1099 these folks, and we did not have to put them on the books. And we went with our recommendation, so whatever the state controller's office, they wanna come in, we're more than welcome an audit, we've nothing to hide, and we've always been about transparency and open government, Ned.
Karen?
Thank you very much.
Well, I appreciate that.
And I've looked into it,
I also,
and there's absolutely nothing wrong with what was done. They were not town employees, there were no town funds, this is all through the LDC. I have spoken with the accountant, the auditors for the town who are going to do an audit of the LDC, and at that point, it'll be clear. But everything that Mr. Lang said is fictitious. He dreamt it up, and he's been trying to sell this nonsense all last year. It's a community garden where a bunch of high school kids voluntarily assisted and were compensated on a basis based on vouchers that they put in. In no sense were they employees, and none of this had anything to do with the town. This is another silly issue he's bringing up. The way he did it in February when he announced that Mr. Blaney was going to block the Esplanade, and how dare no one knew that when Mr. Blaney was on board. This is just another one of his political moves in his quest to keep running for office rather than governing the town.
as I've said
It's
many
nonsense.
times before, Mr. Clementi, as usual, is
And
wrong.
you're trying to say that
As
under the ethics
usual,
law,
is wrong.
it
I have
wasn't-
got
it wasn't a
town
conflict of
vouchers. I have
interest.
got vouchers for the town of Tusten signed by Andrea for people doing work on her property with town money, and I've got a whole list of them.
That's
So
all
that is
nonsense.
really not for your purview, Mr.
That's-
Clementi. That is for the state comptroller's office.
That's all nonsense.
And you're
The
pretty much,
vegetables
you
were
have a
grown
lot
and
of,
the-
you
and
have a
the
lot of
money went to
nonsense
the LDC.
coming out of you. All I can
And
tell
by
you
the way,
is
you're
that these
saying that
people were
with the-
not
excuse
independent
me,
contractors by
but-
any stretch of the imagination. And I know because I'm in business, and if you had employees that you were paying
And
as
you've had to
independent
deal with that
contractors,
issue
Mr.
in your
Clementi,
business because
if
you violated the law
if
in
you,
that
Mr.
regard.
Clementi, only knew the law, you would know better than to even say that because they were not
Okay.
independent contractors.
And
We're not gonna- excuse
furthermore,
me,
under
we're
the
not gonna
town
have a
code of
shouting match.
ethics, you as town
Oh, here we
board
go with the code of
member,
ethics again?
you as a town board member voted that you as a person needing to supply insurance wouldn't have to supply it.
Petty,
Did you have your hat
petty,
on as promoter
petty.
or town board member when you voted against protecting the town?
Petty,
Direct-
Mr. Clementi, as
Petty,
usual.
direct
Petty.
conflict
what?
of interest.
Petty, Mr. Clementi.
This conversation's
conflict
over.
of
Right, thank you very much. Let's let the New York State Comptroller's Office and the Department of Labor work it out with the
They'll come in.
IRS.
That's fine.
Another phony issue.
As usual, Mr.
And
Clementi is
that's
wrong
all
for the
you're good
record.
at doing, raising
As
phony
usual,
issues.
you're wrong.
Okay.
You're
we're
a
gonna-
publicity
As
hound.
usual, you're wrong.
Go ahead, Tony?
Since we brought up the LDC and fireworks, where are we with the printing of that flyer?
Jane's got them all.
They're right there.
Oh, really? They're done?
Yes,
Oh, terrific. How'd they come out?
they're right there. They look very
Well, I haven't seen, can I have one?
They're taped up right now, but.
Oh, but, so.
Actually,
what-
Jane, didn't I, oh, no, I gave one to Mike. Yeah, he's got the only one that's out.
I see, but when will they be going out? Is that
Well, I'm just getting them today, so I hope
open
to
the
have them
bar
out
like in
by
the next
next
couple of
week.
weeks or so?
This week, I hope.
Excellent, that's great. Terrific. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Maintenance bids, summer maintenance bids. Carol?
Yeah,
We received how many bids?
3 bids. Where are we?
Seven, old business.
Oh, we did all this?
Those are available for town.
Esselman Septic and Excavating?
I'm sorry, who was that?
Esselman Septic and Excavating. Mr. Swenson? Jeremy DeGory? I have no name on this. B&C Landscaping.
B&C.
Yeah,
Landscaping?
B&C Landscaping, Harrisburg.
They have no inclusion statements.
Yeah, well, this one does.
As Mr. Lynn didn't.
This does.
That's part of the bid, so. Yeah, Glenn's looking at it now.
So far, there's two bids. Jeremy DeGore for $4,000, and Esselman for $4,000, and Ralph Rundle for $5,000. And,
That's three.
yeah, right there.
Okay, so between Esselman and.
This non-collusion form wasn't included in Aaron Esselman's bid.
Okay. That's a requirement of the bid. That was advertised as such, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and he doesn't have the non-collusion statement in there, so.
Not good.
So his bid is not valid.
Okay, then you got Jeremy DeGore and Ralph Rundle. Ralph Rundle lives in Narrowsburg. Jeremy DeGore lives in Damascus. Jeremy DeGore's $4,000, Ralph is $5,000. I'll vouch for Jeremy, I know he's a hard worker and stuff.
Okay, I will move that we accept Jeremy DeGore's bid of $4,000 as the low bid with the complete bid and non-collusion certificate as the low bid. May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Tony, all in favor, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Excuse me one second, does he have insurance?
He doesn't have insurance at this moment, but he will have it when he has the job.
Okay.
Now we're back into, should have insurance when you're bidding it.
That's true.
Everybody else does.
That's true.
Pardon me?
You should actually have insurance when you're bidding it.
We didn't bid it that way.
Well, the thing is,
Yeah, we didn't put that in
the
the
thing,
bid.
the thing is though, you buy insurance for a year, and if he gets insurance from May 1st, it carries him to the next May 1st. I mean, he was gonna get it this year anyway, because he just got into landscaping here in the last couple of years. But, he will have a certificate on file up.
What's the requirements for insurance? What's the, the liability exposure?
Well, I believe it's just $1 million there is, I don't even know if there is one set. I know the time I had, insurance, it was $1 million. I mean, that's the kind of the basic one for.
Same for parades.
Okay, number 9, I spoke with Supervisor Attorney's Office, I spoke with the Attorney's Office and came to an agreement that the attorney billing will now be submitted on a quarterly basis. We had that discussion last month.
All right.
Update on the Interstate Bridge. I had been in contact with several different people, a few people I was waiting for phone calls back from, I never received. I did finally get to speak with the project manager from PennDOT down here. They were all down on the bridge, looking things over and going over things. She told me that they're gonna start in June of this year to repair the one side to carry the weight. She is speaking, they're having their meetings and whatnot, and she is going to schedule a meeting with myself and New York and PA, when we can. So I'm waiting to hear back from her. Hopefully that won't be too far in the future. I also spoke with a New York State Trooper that was here doing a report for her boss, and asked that, we talked about the situation and how bad it is for commerce in town as well as PA, and, it would be very advantageous if we could move the schedule up. So any recommendations that she could make, would help us out. She was, very amiable to working with us and realized the situation sitting down here that day. I also, when I spoke with the project manager, she stated that I asked if there was any chance of the project being moved up from 2015 to 14, that maybe we could get the full deck replaced earlier, and she said not at this time. But again, then we're going to meet. Ned, I know you sent an email requesting that I set a meeting for the public with PennDOT and New York State DOT. I don't feel that that's necessary at this time because we haven't even met, and there's proper ways that you handle things, and I think that it's the proper way to handle it if the town talks to these folks first, and hopefully we can make some progress. it isn't a town issue in that it's not our jurisdiction. So I would welcome you to, if you wanna have your business, call all the businesses in the area like you suggested. You know, you're more than welcome to use the town hall for that meeting if you'd like to invite them, but I don't feel that it's an issue that the town board should undertake.
Let me just add, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I'll be in Senator Baker's office with all of the other local businesses in the community, and both from New York and Pennsylvania side. At 9 o'clock in the morning, she is going to have all the people, the Pennsylvania DOT is the one responsible. New York State just kind of gives them extra money or, helps to support them. They split their bills, whatever. Anyway, the representative, Mr. Mackley, guaranteed us that we will have answers tomorrow, and we will know exactly what's going on, and he's going to hold their feet to the fire. So I will be able to give you a pretty good comprehensive report, because Senator Baker did involve the business community, and we are going to have, we're going to get answers, because what's happening now is very, very difficult to run your business operations if you have any size trucks at all. And it's a huge hindrance on the local economy, not just in Tusten, both sides of the border, but all of Sullivan County,
Yeah,
Wayne
that's what
County.
we discussed as well.
That's
Yeah.
major.
Exactly right. So I'll have answers for you.
Okay, update on the flagpoles and removal of the old flagpole. Dominic, thank you, and
Carol?
Tom pardon? Barry?
Question, just on the bridge situation, have provisions been made for parking? Because like this last week, they took over Main Street, and when I tried to get down to our basement, they were parked over by the gazebo.
Well, that's one of the things that I asked her also, if they're gonna be staging any of the work and equipment and whatnot down under the bridge and whatnot. So she was not clear at that time. She didn't know. She couldn't give me an answer. They're still working on things. Somebody said that most of the staging was gonna be done on the PA side, but frankly, there's not a whole lot of room over there either. So I, foresee probably, and that's one of our problems right now too, is we have a New York State grant, and we're gonna be doing work down here. So I, explained how that, in their staging of equipment and whatnot, would have an impact on us for our grant work as well. So it's,
Can I ask one?
sure, Bernie,
Could they
real
have
quick.
waited till like after the summer? Why are they doing it right in the middle of the summer?
Because that's our
The
construction
bridge
season.
doesn't fall down.
There's also requirements when you're allowed to work over a
The bridge
water
doesn't
main.
fall down when you want it to, Bernie. The engineers made this decision. They looked at the bridge. The bridge spoke to them.
Well, I'm
Said, "I'm dangerous."
I'm surprised they're letting anybody go across.
Bernie.
Who's checking the weight on the trucks going over?
Bernie, there's a season that they allow you to work over water.
Area.
And it starts just about, like they said, May time, and you have to be out over the water by October, I forget, whatever it is, they
Right.
change it every year.
Yeah.
Two
But there's a
lousy
very,
months to
they have a
make a
limited.
few bucks in the town, and they're gonna screw it up.
That we really can't do anything about. So
I mean, the bridges, they've been futzing around with that bridge for years.
Yeah.
Start a
thank you,
ferry.
Bernie. Update on the flagpole. So as I was saying, Dominic and Tom, thank you for taking the flagpole down, and we appreciate that. The flagpoles were installed on time. I have sent the pictures to Sullivan County Planning. Heather Jackson emailed me back that she was in receipt of them, and I subsequently asked when we would be receiving our check. So hopefully we'll be hearing back from Jill Meyer on that as soon as possible. Advertise the snow removal bid. Did we get that bid?
I have a,
You have it?
Yeah, I sent you a copy.
Okay.
Norm
I sent
sent
one to
one, and he wasn't, I don't know if anybody, he asked for any other input, and if that's the final one, then I have it. If not, then someone needs to give me the final one.
Okay, do you have it with you?
No.
All right, we'll table this till next month then.
That's the bid for what?
Snow removal.
That's for the deck in the town hall.
Okay.
Is that the one from Liberty Ironworks?
Make sure, no. This is snow removal. New business, advertise quotes for the town hall ramp. I did speak with Cooper Neiman, and they did suggest that we go out and get quotes, just so that we can prove that we advertised. We're probably not gonna get anybody but Liberty, but
Put it
that's,
out. I'll talk
as
to
long as
Joe.
it's in the paper and whatnot, so. So, can I have in the form of resolution that, in the form of a motion that the board authorizes the town clerk to advertise for quotes to repair the town hall ramp?
I'll make that motion. For a second.
Eileen,
For third.
second?
Wait a minute. I need specs on this?
Yes,
Who's
I'm just gonna ask
provide
that question.
The specs are gonna be basically the same as wall caps. They're gonna need to come down, they're gonna look at it. If Norm can meet them, explain what's wrong with it. And they're just
I'll make up
quotes,
another
we don't
set of
need
specs.
bids. So
That's
we're
like I
going
said
out
to
on
you.
quote.
Oh, okay.
Right,
All right, so
I'll
then
make up another set.
Norm will do that for the,
Yeah.
for the bid?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Norm is doing it for the bid. Okay, go ahead. Who made the motion?
Eileen?
I'll
I have a second. Ned? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion, opposed? Motion carried. We need to, the Catskill Hudson Bank needs an authorization for Carol to open the accounts that pertain to her office. So this is resolution, the town clerk is authorized to open up new accounts at the Catskill Hudson Bank for the town clerk, tax collector, and DEC accounts, and that she be the only signature on the account. Can I have that in the form of a motion? I'll move it. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The, as Kenny explained to you before, this is regarding the land. You have that map that I handed out. Thank you for making those copies, Ken. And these are parcels that abut our town property up at the town highway barn. And it's been advantageous to us in the past to try to acquire these before they go to tax sale. So I don't know what they're for now, but I need your authorization to negotiate.
It's been an ongoing thing for years to acquire land
Yeah.
up through there, so
Yeah.
let's just keep
So,
going.
yep. Okay, so can I have in the form of a motion that
I'll
the
move
town
that.
board authorizes supervisor to negotiate the acquisition of 2 parcels of land, the board of the town of Tusten property located at the highway barn, specifically section block and lot numbers 16.5-1.1 and 16.5-1.3.
Norm moved it.
Norm, can I have a second?
No, I moved it.
Tony did.
Oh, Tony
I'll
moved it.
second it.
All in favor?
Oh, wait,
Aye.
well, let's have some discussion. What's the cost? Explain the process, please. What's the cost of these two
We don't know that yet. This is just authorizing me to negotiate.
and not close
When
the
I
deal?
get a price, then I will come back to the board and get an authorization to purchase.
And it's usually the town
Sounds good.
taxes, dude.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm good with
All
it.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion of Grace Bible Church, the container closet. What's everybody's feelings there?
Did they say what size it will be?
It's small to medium, and I don't understand exactly what that is.
Used for their toys and stuff. isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had them over there and then they made them,
Oh, they made them take them out of there?
yeah, that's what they're here.
Yeah.
How big are they?
Oh. It's probably gonna be no bigger than one of those cabinets, half one of those cabinets back there.
Half of one of those cabinets? That's not
Shouldn't
bad.
be any more than that in
That's not a
volume.
problem.
That's not a problem.
Just, I'm just looking where are we gonna put it though?
How about on that far wall over there by the piano?
Yeah.
Move those
Yeah,
chairs
go
up a
put
little
it
bit.
there. Yeah, worst comes worst, and you always slide it up in there, on the side there above the bathrooms,
Above the
back in there.
bathrooms.
Even,
I don't think you can block that all the way.
No,
No.
no, not blocking it. Thought there was more room when you got back behind there.
No,
No, there isn't. That's
no,
right.
there's no room back
I was
there.
thinking over
even
there.
up by there
Sorry.
between the window and the
Or
thing.
on this wall, I don't know.
Yeah, right there underneath the tables, you might be able to slide a couple things
Yeah,
underneath the
I'll
tables.
tell them if it's not too big. So nobody has a problem with that, I can just,
Nope.
okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
Help 'em out.
we don't need a motion on that, I'll just call them. Bank of America parking lot lease agreement. I took this over to Jeffrey, and he went over it. Actually made a mistake just because I was in a hurry and I signed it actually that day. But, so I need your authorization to sign it, to send this out. Basically, the lease agreement is just the same as it's always been. It, authorizes us to, lease the town parking lot behind Bank of America. It's for $1 a year. So,
They own that property now?
they own the property, yep, and we maintain it and whatnot. And
Who just put those guardrails in?
they did,
Pretty nice.
yep.
Price is right.
Yeah, price is right, $1 a year.
Not gonna
We've
get
got
that.
parking. Can I have
Now
that in the form of a
$2.
motion?
I'll make it.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion New York State Department of Ag and Markets dog kennel and draft bid quote. We put $1,000 in the budget to, build a kennel. If we can have, do it in-house with highway and hopefully water and sewer would be willing to help us out too.
We need water over there?
We're gonna need water.
Or sewer for the dog?
That would be nice.
What to do with the waste, so
We'll
you gotta
compost,
figure
we'll
it out.
compost.
Yeah, a compost pile,
Make a
yeah.
dog that doesn't poo, let me know.
Yeah,
We have $1,000, I'm hoping we can get it done within that, but, you know, I don't know what materials are gonna be. I did,
Make
get,
it work.
Carol, did me a favor and called up there, and we've got some specs on what we have to do as far, there's certain regulations that we have to adhere to, like you can only have, the floors can either be linoleum or concrete, you know, so they need to be,
This is an inside area.
an inside area, yes, it has to have heat to a certain degree, it has to have water, so there are requirements, and what was done and placed down at the sewer plant is not an acceptable shelter. We do not have a shelter.
Where would you put this, Cal?
Glenn and I discussed up at the highway barn, we picked out a place for it where it could go, it would be on the 97 side of the highway barn. And so we could run the water.
You got water up there, electric.
Just give it to Raymond, he's got a bunch of animals up there, he'll take care of them.
He's got a lot of stuff up there.
But we're clearly in
Take my brother up
violation,
there.
we've been in violation for years, they haven't pressed us, and now I got this letter, so they are starting to press us.
And from my
I've
other
called,
conversations, yeah, we wanna get this done.
when I was town clerk, I called, now this past year, I made several calls to various area shelters, nobody will accept us on a contract, so you either have to contract with another shelter, they're not accepting anybody, so it's very difficult for us, so we're gonna have to take care of our own. So, that's where we're at.
I'll
Who's,
take
who's
care
our
of it.
dog warden, is that still Mike?
Yeah.
Mike Cookingham,
Oh, is he still,
yeah.
how do you feed the animals?
Yeah, we have requirements for them to stay. So, can I have this in the form of a motion that the
I'll move
board
this.
authorizes, okay, just number 19, Norm moved, a second,
Second.
Tony, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Paper roads as presented. I think I gave you all a copy of those.
Is this one?
No, these
Oh, good. Sorry, good. I read
look like
everything.
this. Did I give you a copy of these? Yeah, those are the, Ned. Yeah. Ned has them. Okay,
Can't see that.
as presented,
Have to listen.
these are for Narrowsburg Motor Sales. I will read one, and then I'm just going to read you the name and the section block and lot number, because that's the only thing that changes in these. The town board of the town of Tusten hereby authorizes the supervisor of the town of Tusten to convey a .078 acre parcel of real property as indicated on a map by Packer Associates Incorporated, licensed land surveyor dated February 16, 2013, and is approved by the planning board of the town of Tusten as a lot improvement to the lands of Narrowsburg Motor Sales. The .078 acre of real property was conveyed to the town of Tusten by deed from the county of Sullivan dated November 12, 2011, as recorded by the clerk of the county of Sullivan as instrument number 2011-7703 on November 17, 2011, it being part of tax map number 11.3-4. The consideration for this conveyance shall be payment of the proportional share of costs and expenses that the town of Tusten has incurred in the conveyance from the county of Sullivan in compensation for the time spent by the attorney for the town. This conveyance is further subject to the town to reserving an easement for the maintenance of water and sewer lines, if any, maintained on the subject premises. Said parcel shall become part of the existing lands of Narrowsburg Motor Sales as recorded in the office of county clerk and Lieber 516 at page 429. Tax parcel number Tusten 11.9-8. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the town of Tusten shall execute all documents required for this conveyance on behalf of the town of Tusten as soon as legally and possibly practicable. The second resolution is a .050 acre parcel of real property mapped by Packer Associates, dated February 16, 2013, approved by the planning board to the lands of Edward Boyer and Olivia Dunray. The deed from Sullivan County dated November 12, 2011, as recorded by the clerk of the county of Sullivan, instrument number 2011-7703, on November 17th, 2011, it being part of tax map number 11.3-4. The tax parcel number Tusten 11.5-2. The third is a .014 acre parcel of real property is indicated on a map by Packer Associates, dated February 16th, 2013, approved by the planning board as a lot improvement to the lands of Douglas and Judy Knight. This was recorded in the county clerk's office as instrument number 2011-7703 on November 17th, 2011, it being part of tax map number 11.3-4. This conveyance, existing lands at Douglas and Judy Knight is recorded in the office of county clerk at Lieber 3523 at page 438, tax parcel number Tusten-11.5-3. So, can I have a motion to move all three of those?
I have one question,
Yeah.
That second one, did you say Boyer or Beauregard?
No, Beauregard's a neighbor.
Right here. Is this what we're talking
Edward
about?
Boyer and
Is that what
Olivia
we're-
Dunray. No.
Which
Nope.
one are we talking about?
That we're not discussing right now.
We're not discussing that one?
No.
We're just discussing this?
Just resolution.
Okay.
Excuse me, do I have a
So, Jeff, they're not
Yeah,
discussing
you don't
this
have any
one?
financial interest there.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's Beauregard.
We're doing Boyer and Dunray.
Road between us?
No, that's a separate issue. I don't have that on the agenda, I want to talk about it tonight and then put it on for next month. So can I have that for all three in the form of a motion?
Now, Carol, these parcels, they're gonna be, I know there's an
That's
issue
not
down
that
there.
parcel.
Oh.
We're not talking about that now.
These are not them?
No.
Don't know?
These are the paper roads that, it
On
was a
this right here?
development.
No.
No.
Okay.
These were paper roads that, it was a development, it was a homeowners association, and they had these roads that they were gonna do, and then they didn't wind up making them roads. So we're trying
Well,
to.
where are they located? That's really what I'm after.
Okay, these are all down the flats.
Okay, and so you're gonna convey them to the property owners that are adjacent to them or
Yes,
something?
yes. What we did is we offered, if they had adjoining property owners, that's in the middle, we offered half to each.
Same.
And if one didn't want it, the other one took all of it, so.
I'll
They're
make-
paying the survey costs and the attorney fees and filing fees, so we have no costs involved. We acquired them from the county, trying to facilitate this, and we kept everything that pertains to our water and sewer, we kept our easements.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Set date for litter pluck. Can I have resolution that the litter pluck in the town of Tusten be held on Saturday, April 27th, 2013. Norm? Can I have a second?
Aye. I'll
Ned?
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I have one issue that you'll see on this map. Speaking with Michael Packard, Ed, do you know any more about this than I do?
The road goes down between Boyer and Knight, and it just kind of, there's a paper road down there that when you get to the end of their property, it just drops off on a cliff. And there's a paper road that does continue through there that was never picked up in the sale.
Right.
And there's no way it's ever gonna be made into a road, because it's like a 10-foot drop off there when you get, there should be something at the end of that driveway, or the end of the road where we are, although we don't own the road any longer, but
Right. So that's another issue that we can clean up.
that somehow or other slipped through the cracks on all of this. The
The only thing
Packer
I wanted,
Engineering.
I didn't wanna do it tonight, I didn't put it on the agenda because I wanna give Dominic an opportunity to go over the maps and make sure that we don't have water and sewer on that before we do this. So, so basically, yeah, Ken, you should go over it too.
This Fourth Avenue in Town Highway.
Oh,
page, so-
okay.
So Ken and Dom, if you guys could both look at that map.
If you go right straight down past, instead of turning where Knight's house is,
You know
well,
where
that's a road, because it looks like a driveway, but that's actually the
There's
road.
two roads.
If you go to the end of
Just
that,
at the end of
it drops
Pedro's.
off.
There's a fence there with a dead end
So-
sign
Yeah,
on it.
but I mean, that
If
road
we have
is
water
supposed to
sewer there, you
continue
want
on down to the
that's
river.
fine, and you think-
You want blacktop next week, is that what you're telling
Yeah.
me?
All right, I think we're just, there is an easement.
Extra chips on.
I'll
So-
check, I'll look at it.
So wait a minute, I have a question for Chairman Jackson. So is Mr. Knight and also Mr. Beauregard coming before your board like, as far as,
They haven't approached us at all.
oh, they haven't, even
No,
though,
You wanted to have a
This,
resolution.
Packer picked this up when they were doing the paper roads for
Right.
Boyer and,
Beautification.
and Knight.
right.
And they said, why isn't this included? I said, I don't know, that wasn't part of my,
You wanted a
We didn't know
resolution.
anything about it.
so now we're just trying to clean some more up.
Okay.
Okay, this is town property, yes.
I forgot to tell you.
Yes, thank you, okay. Okay, so if you guys go over that, then make sure we're all good on that, and then we'll do that next meeting.
It's gotta go to sign board.
Back to the sign.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And Jane just brought back to my attention that beautification needs a resolution to approve them to put the sign and stone wall, is it, on town?
It'll make it look just like the one on Bridge Street, basically.
So it's town property, so anytime we do something on town property, we need a resolution. So can we authorize the beautification committee to put up a new sign and wall?
It'll be the same sign.
I'll say
Okay.
aye.
Same sign.
Jane, are you doing that one on the triangle there,
No, the one, which one, north or south?
south up here?
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about, that's what you said.
Right. What do you think about cutting those trees?
Made that motion.
Yeah, that should get.
How do you,
Nobody was listening.
Yeah, go ahead, Glenn.
how do you feel about us going in there and cutting those trees down? Everything in there's bent out of shape, branches broken
It's
off and
horrible.
everything, and it looks terrible
On the
there.
lower end and everything over that ditch line and everything else, wonder the state hasn't cut it out anyhow. There's a whole bunch of undergrowth
You're
on there.
not talking right around the sign.
No, be down below
There's one
that.
down at the bottom, there's an old cedar tree down at the bottom of
Yeah,
Pine
you
Creek.
do what you think is
Yeah,
best,
that
just
should
leave
call
the
them out.
sign.
And then where that water comes down through that pipe there,
Yes.
that's all that wild rose bush and stuff,
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, we're just concerned with the sign, the rest is all your property.
Well, it's up to you guys to okay me to do it, I guess, or something. I
Carol,
don't know.
Yeah.
have Glenn and the highway department clean up the triangle from all the disrepaired shrubbery and unwanted growth and everything else, and make it more presentable.
Can you do that? Okay, we don't need a resolution for that,
All right,
so,
we're done.
yeah, just, go ahead, thank you. Okay, so Eileen made the motion that the beautification committee be authorized to work on the town's property to erect stone wall, plantings, and the sign. So, Ken and I will, okay, Tony, you'll second that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Okay, us, it's gonna flip down to board comment.
See past a pole.
Ned?
Are you on executive session first, or we're gonna do board
No, we're
comment?
gonna do board comment and public comment first.
No, let's see, when are we going to go out now to the businesses, now that we have those mailings will go out soon for the fireworks? And then, we need to work on getting, going out to we need to coordinate 3 or 4 people, and I'm happy to be one of them, to go out and ask the commercial businesses in the area for donations for the fireworks.
Chamber meeting and we can do that.
Okay, invite me.
Pay your dues and you'll be on the email.
Okay. All right, but that's pretty much it, and I'll keep the board appraised of what's going on with the TLDC, as Andrea will also, I'm sure.
Thank you. Eileen? Any comment?
Not a one.
Not a one. Tony?
The only thing that I've got to say is, since this gentleman is videotaping this proceeding, and I saw the town of Delaware's meeting a couple weeks ago, and I'm wondering, since I also got a kink in my neck when I was talking to you, that I'm wondering that if the board, since this is a meeting amongst ourselves and the public is invited, whether instead of setting up like this, we can set up like a square, because the town of
Yes.
Delaware, I can speak to you, as opposed to speaking to the audience, where I should be speaking to you.
Right.
So
Tony,
what I'm
I've
trying-
said this for years.
So I'm saying, let's.
The only one who's ever agreed
So
with me.
some, well, I saw the town of Delaware, the way they're set up, and it's in a square, so I can speak to you and to you,
Yes.
as opposed to.
But none of us have our back to the audience, to the public, right?
That doesn't
I
matter,
think they-
it's
they
our
do.
meeting.
I know, but I
Right.
don't think we should have our back to the public.
Well, you're not gonna have your back.
So
have your
I
signs
would
in
like
the
to.
Three-sided is a good idea. I like a three-sided idea.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sound like a horse.
So that's the
Yeah,
only
three
thing
sides,
that-
yeah.
That's
Good idea, it's a good point.
And before you comment, Norm, that just brings me, I
we can
forgot
all
to
look
put
at
on the
each other.
agenda. I would like to put out to quote the court dais, because I haven't heard anything back from BOCES.
Okay,
So-
put that out. I would make the motion for that.
Okay.
What's the motion?
Authorize the town clerk to
Advertise.
advertise for quotes on the court dais.
There's plans up there, right, so
There are
they can get to
plans.
the bidders so far.
But we're not gonna get that grant now, right?
We still have the grant, we still have the money, we just need to spend it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so.
No, we did Jocelyn did a new grant for the bathrooms, which we didn't get.
Because
This was
that
from
was what,
previous year.
okay, because I read that we
Yeah.
didn't get, okay.
No.
Yeah,
So-
they're up there.
So Norm made that in the form of a motion, I will second it, can I have a, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay. And Norm, comments?
On the LDC, the financial reports and everything else, I'd like to see all them posted on the website for transparency, because I think, that should all be out there, hanging out there in the public, plain view.
Yeah, once we get the audit from
Right.
Copenhagen, yeah, sure. Yep.
And the Cablevision contract, we ever gonna try negotiating with them again, or are we just
Yes,
gonna let
we
them?
are. Well, that's another
Maybe
thing.
we get a
I've
public
had so
access
much to
channel for
clean
some
up
of
this
this
past
stuff.
year that I've been.
Public access channel would be a nice point to hold them there.
Absolutely. I think we should have Scranton back too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But just explain that a little bit more then, Norm or Carol. What's the status of that negotiation?
It's a cable franchise.
It's ran out,
Which has
they've just been running on
expired.
the old rate, but they're raising everybody else's rates, and they haven't been raising ours at all.
Right.
So I think it's about time we get to them, because I think I've went through, what's it been, 4 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
about 4 years since that's expired?
It expired, I think, the last year of Ben's term.
Okay, so
During
it's
that
been,
year.
so it's close.
Peg didn't do anything with it,
So it's
and
4
I haven't
years.
had a chance to do
All right,
anything
so
with it
three
this
and a
year.
half,
So
so what,
that's
you
on
know.
my agenda for this
And
year.
we've had considerable increases in our cable
Yep,
fees, so.
absolutely.
Oh, just a reminder to the public, next May, this coming month in May, we're gonna have the accountant here and give us a complete review of our books. So anybody that has any questions about the expenditures of the town, appropriations, anything, he's gonna be here to make a presentation.
What accountant,
Cooper
Or
Neiman is
Cooper
gonna,
Neiman.
yeah, I emailed that to everybody. Public, God, Jane.
You mentioned that you received an IDA payment for the railroad. Have you looked into or received an IDA payment for Camp Sternberg? Isn't that still under IDA? Well, can we follow up
They're
on that?
under IDA, but they're under a different way.
Yeah.
So it's not in lieu of taxes, they pay a certain percentage of their taxes every year.
I think we got $10,000,
We used to, I used to, the supervisor used to write a letter and they would,
taxes from the.
donate basically to the town.
But they redid everything, they went into this program, and they, like Ed said, there's a percentage goes into taxes, so they're out of the donation area.
Right.
I am gonna go to the next IDA meeting and find out how they're still doing this and they have no employees.
So are you saying we shouldn't expect any money?
They don't have to give us anything.
Do we ever get anything from the Boy Scouts?
Yes, we did. Yep.
Did we make it noted that people know that we got a donation from them, or?
Oh, yeah, I read that.
No, I think it was 5,000, it used to be 10,000.
5,000?
I think so.
And we got one from the Gurchenheim or whatever they are.
Burgess, yes.
Burgess.
What did they do? I think it was 10, if memory serves me correctly.
All contributions gratefully accepted,
Absolutely.
larger ones in proportion.
I write my request letters every January, so yeah.
Good.
Glenn?
My question's for you and the town board, you, Jane.
Uh-oh. Me,
It's in
Jane.
that time of the year where we'll be putting those garbage cans out,
Yeah, we
but I
have,
still have a serious problem with garbage cans.
because of the lids.
The lids, but also those square containers that are inside, even the 55-gallon drum liners don't fit them. Well, my suggestion would be, is get some 35-gallon garbage cans and put inside of them, and then we have a general average-sized garbage bag will fit into them.
And that 55-gallon drum will fit into the square?
No. That's why I say get like 35-gallon garbage cans,
I'll come up and we'll play.
because those ones that are there are square, and you gotta put bags in them, because you
Yeah, you
can't go
have
around
to.
and empty
Yeah.
them without it.
Report on the-
But also, they don't have lids over top of the room.
How much are the lids?
No, I wasn't.
They were like $400.
And how many cans do we have?
How many is there?
Six. 6 or 7, right.
Seven.
Should have bought the lid.
If you don't have covers on top of them, you're gonna have all that rainwater.
No, we have
Rainwater.
to-
There's a cover on top, but they got a hole about this big around. Now, I've seen them, I think the government center might have them, somebody has them, and they got just a piece of metal like this, so you gotta stick in.
Right.
Right.
And, but I mean, you know, to find somebody that's
It
gonna
makes
do.
about 100 pounds less lifting.
I think the thing to do there is, really, is maybe someone like Bobby Cuda or someone like that.
Or the Mennonites, man, they do great work, they're
Yeah.
right on Beach Lake, they
Yeah.
do all my
Oh,
welding.
where are they?
Right in Beach Lake.
Where?
Beach Lake.
Is
man.
that NARR?
Not public funds, private funds.
Any other public comments? Bernie?
Well, it's sort of an observation and it's sort of a concern. Now, all the grants that are flying around and people applying for grants, this is all changing the direction of the town. It's putting a financial burden on the town, and you're the elected officials, and I never see any of it discussed here at a town board meeting. Approval given, denied, or anything.
Town hasn't approved for any new grants. Town hasn't applied for any. That was LDC.
Same difference, it's an extension of the town board.
To my knowledge, we don't have to
You are the public
accept.
officials that appoint the
approve
people
that.
to the LDC. You are responsible. I'd really like to see some
No,
discussion.
The LDC appoints from within.
Bernie, come to
Town
the
board
next
doesn't-
TLDC meeting, I would suggest, and why don't we
You have
discuss
it at
that?
10 o'clock in the morning at work.
Okay,
The grants are all, they're not matching grants, any of the ones we
Right.
applied for, they're straight up grants.
But they changed the direction of the town. And you're the elected officials, and you should have input onto it in the
Well,
public.
it's up to the town board to accept those grant monies if, once the LDC,
The one for
receives
the
grant
100 and
money.
some thousand for the study for the walk, that was in the middle of July. It came out of the clear blue. Nobody even knew about it when we went through the whole thing with the public hearing.
everybody knew about that we were
It
applying
didn't
for
come
that
up at
grant.
the public hearing.
It might not have been said at the public hearing, the public hearing wasn't on,
Public, you are the board.
the
You are the
public
elected
hearing
official.
was on the design at that point. It
That was
wasn't on the,
design.
yeah, that was design, it was not on the,
Wasn't an appropriation.
yeah.
Right. Appropriation was a long
It's
time
changing
ago.
the direction of the town. The town board needs to get involved and have a say what direction the grants go,
We do.
who's applying for it, and approve it or disapprove it, and then they can send it.
Well, the LDC is their own, they're a separate entity basically, so that when they apply for a grant, if they receive grant monies,
But they
and then they
have to have
want.
matching funds from the
Can I
town, or
finish?
donations, or this or that, or
No,
something
they're
else.
not gonna have matching anything from the town. It's up to the, when
You already
the,
did that, you had
Bernie, can I
$79,000.
finish my sentence, please? When the LDC receives a grant, they can then come to the town and offer those grant monies to the town for a certain project. And then we can either accept or decline at that time.
Then what's all the big deal, oh, we got $50,000 grant for this, we got a grant for that? I don't see any of it coming before the town, it's changing the direction of the town.
What's wrong with that?
$50,000 grant.
It's part of the comp plan.
that's a good point.
Open in government.
We just have to make sure that,
It's
and I
gotta be-
understand what you're getting at too, because if you accept these grants and then there's a lot of upkeep, let's say you build a certain part of a project, what's the upkeep? We have insurance issues with the Esplanade if it goes, there's a lot of questions that aren't
Long-term
answered.
ramifications, and plus, if there's matching, how
Maintenance,
much can
who's
we
gonna do the
underwrite?
maintenance on it?
Yeah, I mean, if there's matching, I mean, that clearly has to come to the town
Yeah,
board before the grant's
because
written.
there's
Of course.
limitations, how much we can.
It's a valid point, Bernie.
Absolutely.
It's a valid point.
Absolutely, I mean, that's where our decision-making comes in, but I mean, for the LDC to just apply for a grant, they don't have to ask our permission. Jane? Yeah?
Do you know what the LDC is, 501 what?
3C?
Is it? No, it's not a 3C, I'm told.
No, I have to check with the account, but it's the 501 of the Internal Revenue Code. It's the regular nonprofit.
Has it ever been applied for? Not to our knowledge.
No, I
The-
think it is.
We had that discussion at the last meeting. We have no knowledge that it's a 501c. And actually, we were gonna take that up as we get some funds in, but right now, we have no funds.
The filing for that was Andrew Arias over at Cooper Neiman.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments?
On the litter plot,
Bernie, last one.
where will, do the people bring their stuff to the,
Up to the parking lot up here, we'll take the 1 ton.
right here?
Usually beautification coordinates that with a highway department in town, and we'll, we're there, and.
Or then you take it over to Monticello, is that?
Yeah, I don't remember what we did with it, but I'm sure somebody did.
the river.
It's only
The river's
certain
a
hours,
good
it's only
place.
certain hours, and don't be late, because I do get the truck out of there at that designated time, because if I leave it there, it winds up with everybody's household garbage.
What's the hour gonna be?
I don't remember
Yeah,
what they are.
we'll let you know.
Up here in
it's
the
April
parking lot by the
27th.
library.
Carol Sue's got one.
Okay, so,
That just reminds me, are we gonna have a free dump day for the town?
I called the county a few weeks ago, they were in committee on that issue, and I'm waiting to hear back if they've, made a decision on when, if they're gonna provide us
Yeah,
with space this year.
Last year it was really late, I mean, compared
It
to
was
other
very
years.
late, yeah, so,
It was like May or something.
yeah, it was late in May,
Right,
yeah,
right.
so I'm just waiting to hear back, but I'm confident.
Sure, the snow is
so,
gone.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I will move that we go into executive session. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Andrea Duckett. I gotta tell you, I'm very frustrated. Hearing about what's going on with community gardens, something that I think is very valuable for this town. I do not dispute if things were not handled the right way in terms of employing the students. I don't know, I'm just really ignorant in terms of what is not an independent contractor. What does greatly concern me, though, is how perhaps some board member are taking it upon themselves to kind of run a little renegade on this. And the purpose of the town council is to act as a council and to act in concert and to have discussions and to move forward on a unified front. It's a vegetable garden that we're talking about here, and the fact that as a council, that everyone can't come to consensus and figure out how to solve the problem, which as an elected official, you're supposed to do. I don't know, it leaves me with very little confidence when people kind of run amok. Because I would imagine that there's probably procedures and things like that that should be followed. And the fact that a big red button keeps on getting hit and escalation happens way before it needs to happen is really awful. I mean, there's different ways to handle things. You can either come together or you hit the big red button. As an example of hitting a big red button, it would be as if, for instance, I were to contact the Department of Elections and let them know that a newly elected official has yet to file a single campaign finance report, which is punishable either by fines leading anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 and potentially a misdemeanor. And in this age of wanting financial transparency amongst our board, amongst our town, and everything else, I find it contradictory, and I find it just despicable. Thank you.
And the point is that when you're dealing with public funds, we are caretakers of the taxpayers' money. It is our charge to ensure that all monies that are spent properly and with the right oversight, and that has not been done. And so whether you like it or not, that is my charge and every charge of the board member here. And you can be well and rest assured that there will be transparency in this government that there hasn't been before. And we will get answers and we will run these things properly or they won't be run.
There has
I
always
disagree.
been
I
transparency.
totally disagree. There has always been.
There's no dispute about what needs to be done, but I would dispute the process that is the way that things are being handled right now.
Anybody has always been able to look at the books of this town.
Absolutely.
If you chose not to do it, that's your problem.
And as
But
someone
they
who
have
wants
been
to
there.
mitigate liability for this town, I don't
No, I
understand.
disagree with you on that, totally.
Eileen, I have to say,
Without gaining consensus amongst the town on how to move forward, because no one wants to get sued. So why would you go and send up a, hey, look at us, we have a problem, without actually going there with a solution first?
period, end of story.
And you're wasting it, because you're hitting the big red button and you're causing everybody to run around, you're yelling fire in the movie theater, and then you're running out.
I'm not running anywhere, I can assure you, and let them figure it out. Because we can't get the answers we need. I've had to file numerous FOIL requests before I was a board member to get the information I needed. So there wasn't transparency and there wasn't an openness in this government, and there is now. Or we're trying to make it.
Excuse me.
No, there absolutely was not, Carol. There absolutely was not.
From your election.
Yes, there was.
And anybody that wants.
Decisions that you're making, who's funding?
And anybody that wants to be included on the emails between myself and the town board members, unless it's something of, some sort of a very private nature, I'm happy to put your email on my list. And I've got many people that have taken me up on that.
I take exception
So do I.
to your comments.
You can take exception,
That-
Carol.
Thank you, let me finish.
I am.
I take exception to your comments that there has not been transparency. The fact that you filed FOIL requests, that is what FOIL is for. It's Freedom of Information Law. You make a FOIL request, you obtained the documents. You had to obtain, you made several FOIL requests. That's the way the law is. That's the process. And you were never denied any record.
Carol, when I came to you and asked you a month and a half ago for all the records for the TLDC, you said go to the town clerk. So I got statements from the town clerk. I did not get all these vouchers and all this other information unless an individual in this town filed a FOIL request and gave me all the vouchers. So even on as a town board member asking for relevant information about a board that I'm vice chair of, I couldn't get that
You
information
asked for them
without
right
someone
away.
else
We
filing a
would've
FOIL
given them
request.
to you.
Carol, I didn't know it existed. I said, let me have all the
And
information
those are all
for
the
the TLDC.
documents that were just given to Matt Solomon, who's now the treasurer of the TLDC. He has all that information.
He does not have this
All
information.
given to him.
He does not have the vouchers.
Exactly, and that's what the board
How-
is
how
supposed
is-
to
how
do. Let's
about-
work together instead of
We are
against
working
each
together.
other.
How is,
We are
We're
working
not
together.
working together, Ned.
We
How
are
is-
working
how
together,
is
but if
filing-
there's laws that are broken, irregardless of what Mr. Clementi might think,
how
there
is
has
filing
been laws that have been broken, and that has to be dealt with.
Yeah, you broke the ethics code, you broke,
Oh,
you
no, Mr.
you
Clementi.
violated zoning.
Mr. Clementi, you
Now-
are
now you're
before the
filing-
New York
you're
State
filing
Bar
nonsense
Association.
claims-
You
you're
are
filing
before the New
nonsense
York State
claims
Bar
against the town.
Association on
And you're-
numerous ethics violations.
You have
and
lied
I've
several
got
times, and
that
it's been
before the New York
dismissed.
State Bar.
You're a
And we
liar.
will see exactly what happens before the New York State Bar, because you will
Right.
probably lose your
Okay,
license
this
for what you've
conversation
done.
is over. I make a motion to
Fantasy.
move into executive session. Ned, actually, I'm gonna have to ask you to, stay out of executive session for the first part of it,
Okay.
because it regards, the lawsuit that you're bringing against the town.
Okay,
Nonsense.
So,
fair enough.
and then I will ask you to come in on another matter.
Bring him in.
Can I have a second?
Mind my stuff.
All in favor?
I don't mind your stuff, I know.
Opposed?
My pocket.